Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Friday, November 14th, 2025. I am Bishop Darrell Watkins, the Senior Minister of the Sunshine Cathedral. With me today are Bishop Robert Griffin, Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, and Reverend Kevin Tisdall. We are the Queer God Squad. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about us.
Queer God Squad was created by Hotspots Happening Out to support our mission to explore the value of faith in the LGBTQ community. There is no streaming TV show like this in the entire world.
In 2025, we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of Hotspots magazine, with Queer News Tonight sharing over 11,000 stories and 11 million views so far.
We are the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies. This is the Sunshine Cathedral Perspective. Queer God Squad sheds light on the hidden abuse of religious dogma. Most people love their children, of course, but love doesn't necessarily give parents the skills they need to rear healthy, self-actualized children into healthy adulthood. One of the things that parents do to harm children is to teach religious dogma without also teaching critical thinking and demonstrating unconditional love. To teach children that hell awaits those who misbehave, belong to the wrong religious community, or who hold opinions in opposition to those of the right religion is abusive by nature. It communicates that a cult mindset is preferable to critical thinking, investigation, or diversity of thought. It threatens endless punishment for honest points of view or for affiliation with groups considered by some authority to be unacceptable. It promotes correctness over honesty and authenticity, mercy, kindness, empathy, compassion, and generosity. Dogmatic rigidness is abusive to children and even to adults who are coerced into behaviors, prejudices, or feigned beliefs under penalty of damnation. The very setup is cruel and unjust. Dogmatic certainty and the demand for dogmatic compliance are, by nature and definition, abusive and are at the heart of queer oppression. The Queer God Squad denounces dogmatic certainty and enforcement unequivocally. As a kid growing up, I can assure you, I was thinking about this earlier, like, I don't ever recall being taught that you're going to go to hell if you do this, that, or the other. Mm-hmm. What I recall was, if you don't do what I say, I'm going to switch. Or if you don't do what I say, I'm going to get a shoe. But even in Sunday school and teaching, we were taught about hell, we were taught about right and wrong, but I don't ever recall it coming across as abusive. And I never thought about abusive theology until I got older. And then saw how abusive theology and religion and practices can be to children, and also to parents of children who really didn't grasp what it meant to be loving, unconditional, inviting of discussions, of thought, of different opinion, even going to church or not going to church. I think one of the best things I really appreciated as a kid growing up was, like, the dinner table was also the sacred hour. That's where you discuss things. And I'm not sure family time is like that anymore. Family time is not about discussing the news that happened that day, or religious thought, or bringing critical thought around to what we believe, why we believe, and why we do what we do, why we teach the golden rule, why we are invited to be kind to our neighbors and treat everyone with respect. So I think the shame of it is that we don't find ourselves being able to have those kind of communications with our children as we're growing up anymore. If it's not I connected, somehow we are disconnected from what it means to find out what the true part of who we are and what we bring to the table, because we're so busy trying to be everything everywhere and not focus on those things that can give healthy parenting skills or lend children to ask, to be safe to ask questions.
Yeah.
You know, you can't see your own cheek, and you just can't do it. And I think that's what religion is a lot of the time, that because it's just been always there, we haven't been able to look at it objectively. You know, I remember when in the 4th grade, we were learning about Hindus and social studies, and about these cows that are sacred, just walking around in the street, blocking traffic or whatever. And I remember saying to somebody, that's crazy. And I remember that conversation years later when someone else was talking about the virgin birth and somebody said, that's crazy. Like, oh, yeah, virgins don't get pregnant, right? But because you're surrounded in that, that's the air you're breathing, you don't know that a lot of this not only sounds crazy, but if you are forced to believe it, then there's actually negative consequences. Without any nuance or explanation or even a wink and a smile, I was told every Sunday of my life, this guy lifting up this chalice, that they were serving me somebody's blood.
Yeah.
And there are grown folks who just switch channels because they still believe it. It looks like wine. It smells like wine. If you drink too much of it, you'll act like you had a lot of wine. It's wine, right? And it represents something, and we can talk about it for hours. I mean, it's maybe a great metaphor, but it's a metaphor. And I was probably 25, 30 years old before I really, really, really made peace with that. So you're told that the best guy ever was slaughtered for you because you, by nature, are the worst person ever. That's you can't. If you buy that, you're damaged already.
Yeah.
That the God of love had to torture to death the most loving person because I was so unlovable, and that's the only way that I don't rot in hell.
Preacher.
So I can either like go along so I don't go to hell, but meanwhile I'm the reason the best guy ever got, and I don't mean smothered in his sleep. I mean really slowly tortured to death, right? And that's a good thing. Once I accept that killing your only child is a good thing, what are you ever going to convince me is bad? What is reprehensible? So yes, the crucifixion, that just glorify it. It's that cross will make vampires go away or whatever. That cross had people on it.
Yeah.
And one person that we're particularly fond of. And so I am swimming against my own tradition. I don't think I'm swimming against original intent or truth or even academic consensus in the 20th and 21st centuries, but I am swimming against pew knowledge, or when I remind people, this is bad. The cross is bad. The cross was evil. The cross was an instrument of torture.
Yes.
We may as well have a pile of rocks. You would throw at people to kill them and worship those rocks, or the dunking seat that they used to do to women because they thought they were witches, and you may as well have that up there. That's what it is. It's a torture device, and a guy that was really good was tortured to death. Now, how we redeem that in our story is that we insist that that's not the end of the story. That somehow he comes back, somehow his people are still experiencing him, somehow his message and mission continue through his followers and their followers and their followers and their followers, also known as the church. So yeah, we can take this ugly thing and make it beautiful and inspire people, but we're still in the minority of people doing that.
Yeah.
That we are still pretending to drink blood and worshiping execution and saying that some of us are going, when we die, to have it all right. But the vast majority of the planet is not. If you literalize that and never question that, you are damaged. And damaged people damage other people. So yes, this is innately cruel. It just is. And when the God that will kill, I'll say his, own and perfect son, if you believe that God is telling you to toss your lesbian daughter out into the street or your trans daughter out into the street, well, of course you're going to do it because that crazy MF killed his own, you know what I mean? So yeah, sorry, chick, here's $50. Good luck to you. There's some shelters along the way. So yes, when you worship violence, you promote violence. And until we have a radical reconstruction, we don't have to change the stories. We don't have to change the symbols. We just have to start telling the goddamn truth about what any of it means and how any of it can be any good. And so yes, if the killing God and the hell creating God is your God, you're hurting somebody. Mostly you.
Yeah. Bishop Robert, there was a couple words that you said, Dogmatic certainty. Certainty. We are a culture, a society that likes certainty. We like to know that this is the way that it is. And we've often been told that if you just had faith, if you just had enough faith, then you could learn to live with or accept this kind of certainty. But that kind of certainty creates, I don't know, just some real dissonance. And these are things that we have to live with. We wonder why people are bailing from the church in record numbers. And I think that this is certainly one of the reasons. You can't make sense of this. It's abusive.
It is abusive.
As I was listening to Bishop Robert talking about dogmatism being abusive, I started seeing, of all things, B. Arthur as Maud telling people, God's going to get you. I mean, that's kind of what the commentary is all about. And those of us that grew up in any kind of Protestant religion, I grew up as a Baptist, we went to Sunday school every single Sunday at 10 a.m. and the Sunday school teacher just kind of beat it into us, not literally, but might as well have been what we're supposed to be as Christians. And that if people don't think as we do, then they're not the right kind of Christians. And I still to this day don't know what a right Christian is. I was always the little kid in the school that the teacher would roll her eyes when I raised my hand. So when you say that the snake talked to Adam and Eve and caused them to do this, should I accept that? And if so, can it happen again? Kevin, you need to behave. And what was the other line? God can do anything. That was the other line. So we were taught very young, most of us that were in any organized religion, to accept verbatim whatever was thrown at us. And that's the problem.
Under scrutiny, though.
No, it
God
doesn't.
can do anything, but was asleep at the switch for the whole Holocaust. You know, God can do anything, but just took a 12, 14-year-old time out during AIDS. I mean, it doesn't hold water. It doesn't. And here's the thing. You can hope for a thing, you can believe a thing, and you can know a thing. I can hope that there's something beyond. I can believe that if there's something beyond, I'm going there. But I can't know anything that I don't have any hard data for, that I haven't experienced, that there's no empirical evidence. So yes, you can hope for and believe some things, but the things that we preach that we know about, we don't know. So the dogmatic certainty is not even true to begin with. I hope or I believe. I know that I'm trying to work this out. And I believe I might get some headway. And I hope it all matters in the end. But I only know what I know. And when we pretend to know what can't be known, I think that does damage.
And I think that if we live our lives right, nothing else matters. We don't know what the other world, whatever you want to call it, is, but we know that if we do right by each other, then we are doing God's work on earth, in my opinion.
Love your neighbor as yourself. There's nothing to know. But we know that love feels good, and we know that when we treat each other well, we do better. So that's what we know. So the golden rule we can preach with absolute certainty. Not many other things though.
Amen.
And that's today with the Queer God Squad.
Before we go, I want to invite you to check out our performing arts series. Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts has a great acts lined up for 2025 through 2026 season. Here is a taste of what's coming up.
December 7th brings Matthew Darren's annual Holiday Fantasia, always amazing, and this year it will again be co-hosted by Varla Jean Merman.
And in 2026, there is already some great shows lined up, such as Selection from Pearly, a musical based on a play, Pearly Victorious by Ossie Davis on February the 7th. For more information about these shows and others, and to secure your tickets, go to sunshinecathedral.org/arts.
Please like and share this episode on your social media and look for Sunshine Cathedral on Facebook or Instagram.
You can also like our individual pages on Facebook. Remember to visit sunshinecathedral.org frequently. There you will find Bishop Talk, where Bishop Durrell and I interview queer religious leaders, activists, and scholars.
Thank you for joining the Queer God Squad today. We are here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. Remember that we are all in this together, and also remember, you are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad.